Alright guys, today we're going to talk about the Briggs & Stratton 14-inch surface cleaner. And this thing works with your pressure washers and it's rated up to 3200 psi. So the first question that everybody's going to ask me about this video, and yes, even you wise asses that can't wait for me to say what I'm about to say, you're already ready to go, even though you already know the answers because you've been watching me forever, is will this work with my pressure washer? The answer is unequivocally yes. Because if you're interested in a 14-inch Briggs & Stratton surface cleaner, you're not rolling with the 8, 10, or psychotic 12 or whatever gallon per minute 15 million psi pressure washer. You're like me, or you got even less powerful equipment. It says it's rated up to 3200 psi. It doesn't really give a gallons per minute rating. I have a 3600 psi pressure washer, 4 gallons per minute. I've been using this unit for a little over a year. It's done quite a bit of work for me. It's just now barely starting to pick up a weird vibration, and I think that's because I hit the arm, one of these arms, on like the corner of a sidewalk, like it dipped off, and I think it hit, and it's a little bit out of balance. I think that's what happened. But other than that, I've been using this thing with 4 gallons per minute, 3600 psi with no issues. Again, this is the Briggs & Stratton 14-inch surface cleaner for pressure washers up to 3200 psi. I link to it below this video in the description. I'll take you right to it. It's less than $70, and if you're an Amazon Prime member, that ships for free. In 2 days, you can have this bad boy from right now. And this thing is super cool. Let me show you real quick. If you have a wand, and your wand has your normal little 3/8 NPT, I think it's called right here, tip, then you're good to go. Or is it 1/4 inch? I think it's 1/4 inch here and it's 3/8 here. Or maybe it's 5/16 here and it's whatever your normal thing is, like when you buy tips, here's the black soap tip, whatever that normally is. I think that's 1/4 inch, right? So you got your little end here, it's the same end as right there. Right there. So all you do is you take your wand and you connect it. You're done. You just connected a surface cleaner for less than 70 bucks. When you squeeze the trigger, the pressurized water goes through at whatever your pump pressure is and gallons per minute is, and then it creates back pressure, of course. Your pump goes really crazy, starts really working good, and then what happens is these arms right here come up and then they're angled down. See how it's angled down? That makes propulsion this way. So you got twin arms spinning, twin nozzles spinning on one arm, no zebra striping. So as you're moving along, this thing's spinning so fast, and it's spraying, I believe, 40-degree spray pattern between each tip. And so as you're moving, and I'll demonstrate, as you're moving, there's no zebra striping, unless you're just moving way too fast. But without this, if you're just using like your yellows or your green or your white tips, then you got to go back and forth and try to not make stripes. And it's really takes a long time. A lot of people have used turbo nozzles. Some people say it's better. Some people say this is better. I don't know. This thing kicks ass for me. You can use this on the side of walls. If you got concrete walls, you can go up for as long as you can reach. You know, you can go like this, and you see how you can angle it and go up and down. So you can do that, and then of course your surfaces. So this thing's really cool. It works for wood, it works for brick, it works for concrete, pavers, anything you got. Now if you're doing pavers, you need to be really careful that you don't wash the sand up that they use, the setting sand or whatever the hell it's called to lock the bricks in. So move fast if you do pavers. This is actually safer than a wand because you're moving, you can move a lot faster with this. Also, you can purchase a extension wand right on Amazon. If you look down at the bottom of the ad, that you, like if you click on my link, you go to the product where you buy it. If you look down and you see recommended for you or something like that, and it's going to be what other people have bought with this, there's like a little 12 or 24 inch little wand that you put here to here, and then you could put your actual wand with trigger to that to save your back. And I'll demonstrate the importance of it. And I should get one, I just haven't. I recover quickly, so I don't know, it doesn't bother me. But if you got a short wand and you put this on it, then you're going to be hunched over. So my wand's 36 inches, and then you got the handle. So add that little extra bit, you know, gets it a little bit further away from you. You can stand more straight as you're working your unit back and forth. So that's just a little wand that comes with it. All right, 14-inch Briggs & Stratton surface cleaner. So that's just a little bit about it. The next thing we're going to talk about is some simple maintenance that you guys need to pay attention to keep this thing running like a champ. All right, and then after we do the maintenance, we're going to clean this thing all up. We're going to get it back together. We're going to turn around and we're going to go ahead and demo this. And I'm going to let you guys watch me pressure wash my own personal driveway and sidewalk and just show you guys how it works. And then we'll time lapse the end of it, just so you can watch it finish. We'll do a little demo, a stripe here, a stripe there, show you how it works, show you some tips and tricks for getting to edges and stuff like that. And how you can make this thing really work for you, really kick ass. Just this alone, you could do just about everything with it on the ground. You don't need any other items and how to do it. We'll talk about that. But for right now, let's go ahead and get into some maintenance. Right after I have my Lipton green tea citrus. No, this is not a paid endorsement. I wish it was though. Hey Lipton, pay me? I love this Lipton green tea citrus. Man, this stuff is good. So the first thing that we got, all right, we got tips on the bottom. If you need to remove these tips, I never have, but if you need to remove these tips, they are threaded. You can remove them with a small wrench. I don't think it's going to be easy to do, and I haven't ever had to do it because this surface cleaner comes with a screen. If you look in there, there's a flat tip groove in that hole. If you stick your screwdriver in this hole and break torque on it, if you pull out this unit thingy, you have a screen. See that? And you want to make sure that this screen is clean. This screen will catch debris and stop it from going in and clogging up your doohickeys, your tips. So you want to make sure that this is clean. Okay? It's threaded on the bottom, and it's got a flat tip mount on top. Make sure that screen is clean. No obstructions. That's number one. Make sure this is clean. Nothing inside this before you put it back together. Go ahead and put it back together. All right, little screen, just a little filter just to help catch debris. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Okay, that stops your dirt from going through. Now, you have a very fast spinning bar here. This unit is less than $70. I promise you it does not have aircraft grade bearings in there, which means it's going to wear out, it's going to get loose, it's going to get sloppy, it's going to fall apart on you unless you take care of it. This is an Allen bolt head right here. Okay, if you're not familiar with what an Allen bolt is, it's these types of tools. 3/16 fits this one, but it might be metric to like a 4 or a 5, but 3/16 fits fine. So you hold the base of your unit right here, hold it nice and firm, 3/16, break torque. It's a little bit harder to do than what I just did. For video purposes, I already had it broke. But break torque and unscrew this. Now pay attention, because this whole thing, and I did a video on this before too. I'll try to put a link to it right here. Pay attention to what you're doing here and what's coming apart. Okay? If you look already right off the bat, you see we got some spacers in here, some washers. Don't lose those washers. So as you unscrew this, be very careful not to lose your stuff. Looks like there's one more right here and a seal. Don't lose that stuff. Whatever your count is, you need to put it right back. Okay, that That's the base, that stays. And we have a little seal right there. So that's the inside of it, taken apart. That's the actual housing, right there. You got a little seal that goes in that housing. It's a little O-ring. And we got 2 spacers, 2 little washers. Okay? Those went right here. Okay? Water goes in here, passes through the bar, through this diffuser, and then the bar spins like crazy on this metal. Push the metal out. See how it's got an O-ring and an O-ring and then a hole here and a hole here. So as the water comes in, where it's threaded going down, you have the screen that we just cleaned. The water goes in, passes through here, comes out these holes here, and feeds the spinning bar. Okay? That's it. That's how it works. So you got this O-ring and you got this O-ring. Now, because I used the wrong size Allen bolt, the Allen bolt's kind of wedged in there. Doesn't matter. Look at this thing good now. If you got some issues going on, now's the time to go, uh-oh, we got problems. But the O-ring still looks like it's fine. This O-ring looks like it's fine. This seems like it's fine. Okay, you can only put this back on one way, so you can't put it on backwards, see? You can only put it on the right way because this has a spot here you can't get past, and that's wide open, so don't worry about that. So what you want to do at this point, if everything looks good, everything looks clean, go ahead, take yourself a little grease and grease this bad boy up. You don't have to overdo it, just put a nice coat of grease on there, and don't worry, it'll blow that grease right out. The grease will stay on the metal, but where the holes are and all that crap, it'll blow all that out. But you just put a little bit of lubrication on there, take up some slack, help yourself get away with some vibrations. Put a little bit on the threads. You don't have to overdo it, just put a nice little coat of grease. Okay? And then wipe it off right here. Then you can use the ex-wife's panties to clean your finger off. Right there. Those are the Victoria's Secrets. Alright, and now we put it back together. Too easy, right? Nice and easy. You just work that bad boy back in. That's it. Done deal. It's a little bit harder to spin now because of that grease, but that's okay. The grease makes a little bit of friction, but that's okay. That'll wear away really quick. That's all you got. Now you got your 2 spacers, put those back. Wait a minute, put a little grease on them. The spacers go. Just a little bit of grease. You don't need a lot, just a little bit of grease. Okay, put a little bit more on the top. Again, doesn't have to be a psycho amount, just a little bit of grease. Wear gloves if you're more comfortable to wear gloves. If you're afraid of getting grease on you. Okay. Reach back over to the ex-wife's Victoria's Secrets. I don't think my ex-wife ever wore Victoria's Secrets. Or at least if she did, she didn't wear them for me. So, there we go. Now, we're ready to put this thing back together. The only thing we got to watch out for, the O-ring. Remember the O-ring? Put a little grease on it. It won't hurt. Put the O-ring back in place. Push it down with the tool. And that's that. A little trick. Let's say you're having a hard time getting the O-ring to stay in there and it keeps wanting to fall out, or you're working upside down like this and you don't want the O-ring to fall out. Put a little grease on the O-ring and then shove it in there, and the grease will be like a little glue and it'll help hold stuff. That works true for like nuts and bolts. Like if you had to put a nut, if you're working like this and you're by yourself and you got to reach around and you can't use two hands and you got to put a nut on a bolt and you stick the bolt this way and it keeps falling, put a little grease on the bolt head where it would contact the surface of your whatever, and when you put it together, that grease will be like glue and it'll hold that bolt up in place enough for you to start, you know, maybe get the threads going. Alright, just a little tip, a little something I've learned from my dad back when I was a kid. So we got the O-ring in there, we got this thing greased up, we got the two little bushings back in place, we got the screen is clean, that's all back in place. All we got to do now is put this thing back together. Don't cross thread it, be careful, get it started. Once it feels pretty good, you can go ahead and use your tool. Yeah, it doesn't want to spin without the tool. I can't do it by hand. Oh, there we go, maybe. Nice and gentle, don't cross thread it. If you do, you're done. Game over. There you go, nice and easy. Nice and simple. You can use many types of grease in this situation. This is called Lubrimatic Marine Corrosion Control and Trailer Wheel Bearing Grease. That's what I've been using. Seems fine. It's just some thick, really thick, hurdy-dirty grease. Now this is going to be a little bit snug because of the grease. That's alright. What I like to do is I like to go real tight, kind of like packing wheel bearings. Go nice and tight. See, it's still pretty good. Go tight, tight, tight. Make sure it spins good. Yeah, that's good. The grease is holding it up. Go a little bit tight. There we go. We're done. By the time we're done doing about 3 minutes of pressure washing, this will pretty much free spin again. The excess grease will have worked its way out. It's not going to stain your surface, don't worry. It's going to come out with such a little bit of, such a little bit is going to come out. You're not going to be putting you're not going to be painting your surface with grease. Don't worry about that. Alright, it's not going to happen. But go ahead and get this all nice and lubricated up. See, it's already making a difference. It's already good. Quiet, no play. Perfect. This is going to work like the first day you bought it. Under $70, Amazon Prime, ship it to your door. Awesome. Hey, if you guys like what we're doing here, please check out www.dansvlog.com. It'll take you right to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital with their with the charity donations page. And I'm trying to raise $1,000 for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital this year by November 4th. And with that, I'm running in the Rock and Roll Marathon November 4th in Savannah. It's they got the 13.1 and they got the 26.2. So I registered for the 13.1, but I promised them that Dan's Vlog is going to get them $1,000 this year. Last year we did $500. So I'm trying to get them $1,000 this year, just as a give back for what we do here on YouTube. And I really would appreciate you guys to help me give that money back so it's not all coming out of my pocket. But if it is, I'm more than happy to do it. It's a great cause. These kids really need this money, and the families. Nobody ever gets billed when they're involved with the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for childhood cancer, doing their treatments, doing all the things that they do for these kids, moving the families around so they can be with their kids. Just think about that. Think about the children going through cancer therapy alone, you know. So without your help and people like you supporting my channel and supporting my dreams of giving them $1,000 this year, there's a lot of kids alone, you know, going through cancer treatments because the family can't afford to get there. So people like you are making it possible. So I really do appreciate you guys, and if you appreciate this video, and if this video helps you guys out, please check out dansvlog.com, and that's where you can show your appreciation. Send them any dollar amount that you wish. You can do it anonymous, in your name, in anybody's name. You can hide the amount, you can show the amount. It's completely up to you. All right, and then at the end of the year, when we do our run, I put a little video together and I give little thank yous to everybody that that gave me their name, that puts their name, they'll get a little thank you at the end of an awesome video. All right, so I really appreciate you guys. Now let's get back to what we were doing, and we're going to go pressure wash. All right, let's talk about some things that you're going to see, because I'm not going to be able to talk to you so much while we're working, you know. But let's talk about some of the things that you're going to see, and then I'm going to demo those items. First of all, right off the bat, these surface cleaners, just about all surface cleaners, are going to have an edge between the end of the wand here and the base of the unit here. This base is your shield. This keeps you from, you know, hitting the bar and stuff on like sides of houses and things like that. This shield also protects you, the operator, and other people around from mud and dirt and rocks and stuff like that from flying out and hitting you, because as you'll see, this goes with some force, and if you go over pebbles, that pebble's going to start bouncing around in here and come flying out. So the shield helps protect that. This shield makes it so you can do certain things that's going to help you out. Now, if you don't know how to use this unit, then a lot of people are going to use their pressure washer wand, and they're going to use like their white tip or their yellow tip, and they're going to do the edge of sidewalks and stuff like that using those tips. Trying to get like into the corners up here where you see there's corners where the brick is, and they're going to use their tips. They're going to use their tips right here in these corners. Alright? You can use this unit and you can use this shield to your advantage. Let me show you how. When you come up to the corner here as you're surface cleaning, you're going to go like this, and then you're going to go like this. What's going to happen is you're going to be left with about an inch, well, maybe a ½ inch of space of dirt right in these corners here. That would prompt you to want to go get your wand. Well, you got your wand, but take your wand off, put your white tip or your yellow tip, and then pressure wash this down. In time, you can get pretty good at this, where you have your wand on here. If you lift up just a little bit, lift up, that's exaggerated, lift up just a little bit, and what you're going to do is you're going to cause the spray, this is at a 45-degree angle coming out, you're going to cause the spray to be able to go to a larger angle, because instead of it hitting the ground so quick, now you're lifting it up, it's hitting the ground out further. Down, it hits right here. Up, it goes out further. So as you're as you're going along, go up like this and then angle it, and then when you come back, you can get the surface cleaner to get right to that crack. And then here, same thing, lift up a little bit, and you can get right to the crack. And you don't have to change to the separate wand. All right, that's using your base to your advantage. That's one thing that you're going to see me doing. If it's just real bad and you can't do it, you can still try to get it and just make it a little bit easier for when you do have to switch over. It doesn't take any extra time to just put that little angle and come back one more time. All right, so I'll show you that. That's one trick that you're going to see me do if we do video up here. Another trick, your concrete going into flower beds, going into mulch beds, going into stuff like that. Depending on what you have here for bedding, if any at all, decides on how far you go with your cleaner over. If you have to, if you got rocks and loose mulch here, again, if you angle it a little bit, what you're going to do is you're going to make the water meet the crack here, and it's not going to necessarily disturb the mulch and the rock any more than you might need to just use your hand and fluff it back. Without that, if you don't know how to do that with the shield, you're going to catch hell unless you have the specific edger, a surface edger they call it, for pressure washing. And I have a video of that, and if I remember, I'll put a link up of that video. It's like two tips or two pressure wash tools I use or something like that. It's an edger, and it has a bar that sticks in the crack, and that is your shield to separate the water from hitting your bedding. Well, you can use this as your shield, angle it a little bit, and go along. That's if the rock and stuff is higher than the concrete. If it's not, then you can just hum right along and hang your edge over just a tick and get it all nice and clean. That's another tip that you can use. Just go right on down. You'll see me do that too. This is higher here, just like rock and mulch and stuff like that might be, and you can't, you see it hits, so you're going to have a strip of dirt right here. Again, angle it up a little bit on that last run and eyeball it over and get that last bit clean, you can do that. All right. One more thing that's going to help save you as you're working, a lot of dirt is going to come up off the surface. You're going to start moving mud, and it gets to be a real pain in the ass. So you want to start at the top of anything that you're washing, and you want to work down the hill, because that mud and muck and residue and all the crap that you're lifting off the concrete is going to run back downhill and get into what you just washed, and then you're going to rinse it again. So if you turn around and use your pressure washer at the top of your driveway, go across left to right, come down, and keep doing that. Go across left to right, keep going, keep going, keep going. Even if you separate your driveway in half and then in half, always work from the top down. And that's going to have the dirt going from the top down. And then, when you get a good ways down, you can go back up to the top, hold this up a little bit, and just wet the house and anything that might got splashed with some dirt, mud, whatever, perhaps. And then you could just hold it on an angle right along the house, the garage doors, stuff like that. Get it clean, and then at the very end, you could put your white or yellow tip on, and you could just do a quick rinse just to get the stuff down to the end of your driveway. All right, so use this on an angle, put it on an angle whenever you can to keep the debris from blowing in and making a mess, but also to make it so you can get a little bit further on an edge. Cracks, corners, you could do that with just about all of this, okay? And start from the top and work your way down. Those are the things that you're going to see me doing.